Microphone check 1 2. Sorry guys, I'm a mess this morning. I didn't have anything ready to go. Um, but I was working on something. I lost the MP3 file that I made with Richard Allen, his voicemail, the bridge guy audio. But I thank goodness I saved it on my Cubase. So we'll take a look at that. Good morning, Anna Lisette. If Richard Allen did it, he did it alone. I still have doubts about him committing double homicide, so I didn't vote. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I don't understand why they released the audio separated, right? First, we got guys down the hill, which I believe is get down the hill, right? Get down the hill. And then later on, it's guys get down the hill. Why would they separate that? Burston said, it's very complicated. We're not saying that the voice you're hearing is the voice of this person, And then 2 years later, you have Doug Carter saying this is the same person. So I don't understand what that was all about. Doug Carter should have said, hey, I know Burston at one point said this, but this is where we are now. Let me explain the confusion. But it's like they wanted the confusion. The confusion was part of it. I just don't understand why. Kevin says, no way he acted alone. As Doug Carter said, this crime is complex. I think we'll be surprised when we find out the chain of events. I doubt it will be the way we think it happened. The middle is the big unknown. Yeah, there is a lot we don't know. The bridge guy confronted the girls around, 2:13? Muddy and bloody guy was seen around 4 p.m. It's a long time. Good to see you, Jill. Jerry, good to see you. Copper Horse, Don Spain, hello. Rescue, Taco, Paper Pimp, what's up? Mike Essery, 517 Kells, Beth, hello. Patricia, my guy Chopper, True Crime and Other Stuff, Leslie, Rescue All the Dogs. Good to see you guys. Diamonds and Derek Vincino. What's up, guys? Kevin responding to the audio comment. Regarding the separation, the audio is so strange, and as always, the static in between is so perplexing to me. I don't know. Let's take a listen to this. This is basically all the updated audio put together. Let me know if you can or cannot hear this.
Rick.
Gabe snapped. There's the word shirt coming up.
Guys. Down the hill. Rick. Guys. Rick. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Down the hill.
Gabe snapped. There's the word shirt coming up. Gabe snapped. There's the word shirt coming up.
Guys. Down the hill. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Down the
Cable snap. There's the word shirt coming up.
Rick,
Thank you, Derek.
Cable snap. There's the word shirt coming up.
guys, down the hill. Rick, guys, Rick, guys, Rick, guys, Rick, guys, down the hill.
Cable snap. There's the word shirt coming up.
Rick,
Cable snap. There's the word shirt coming up.
guys, down the hill. Rick, guys, Rick, guys, Rick, guys, Rick, guys, down the hill.
Cable snap. There's the word shirt coming up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't say 100%. Because I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm hearing somebody else also. It seems like there might be two voices there, right? It's hard to tell. Yeah, he also said that he knows exactly what happened out there. You know, they never said, hey, we're confused about what took place. They know exactly what happened. I also think it's possible that whoever did this went back to the creek and tried to, wash off maybe some of the DNA. That might explain why the clothes were kind of laying there by the creek. You know, you got somebody in the water scrubbing it. Copper says, if, and in quotes, he is talking and no one else has been arrested, I have to think Richard Allen acted alone. I think KK might still face charges related to Delphi. We will have to wait and see. I just don't understand why Richard McClellan would come out and publicly say, hey, the reason we're hiding all this information is the PCA is because we're looking at other actors, potentially. So what does that mean? It might be time for him to kind of clear that all up, right? Because the case is active. They have a tip line that's wide open, and they have a suspect that's behind bars. And then we just can't get rid of this Keegan guy. Like, why can't they just clear this fool and get it out of here? Because he's not cleared. At all. Regardless of what his dad's friends say. Mike Essery with the super sticker. And Leslie Kingston with the super sticker. Thank you guys for sponsoring today's live stream. I really appreciate it. The inner sleuth. The gut. The intuition. Your brain kind of telling you something's not right. But I mean, honestly, he won't go away. Yeah, these people, if it's premeditated, they definitely were concerned about DNA. They were concerned about leaving evidence. You know, for all we know, there was two suspects out there who began fighting. You know, we don't know. Maybe they had an altercation. Kevin says in the Down the Hill podcast, he said they knew what happened in the beginning and end, but the middle is still unknown, and said he knew 2/3. Yeah, so he's kind of talking about I know what you're referring to. He's talking about the investigation as a whole. But he actually makes a comment. He's talking about the actual crime flow and what happened out there. Basically, how the girls were killed and how they were attacked, and all of the, he knows. They're not. They don't have any questions about what happened out there. 517 Kel says, interesting. It came out that TK had rented the car that the phone was found in, if you can believe KK. Well, I think that kind of hints at the fact that that they drove out there, right? Or they didn't drive. And if you didn't drive, that means that it was pre-planned in advance because you don't really want to buy tickets, same day, right? You always buy them really early so they're not so expensive. So that means they were planning it ahead, which could either be that they've been pre-planning this for some time if they're involved, or it's proof that they weren't trying to flee. They just were going on a trip that was already planned and it just happened to be around the same time. Larry Smith says RAKK and his dad are involved. I think it's very possible. Thank you, Sassy. Anna says if KK had direct knowledge, he wouldn't be doing 43 years for CSAM. Why not? I'm starting to think it's more possible now today that Kagan was directly involved, possibly even there with Richard Allen. I think that is a possibility. Do I see anything as far as proof? No. Leslie's asking why didn't he just kind of leave him right there on the creek? Because he wasn't very far from the bridge. And if he selected that location, it most likely means he spent some time on that path. So he knows that there's traffic coming and going. It may not be heavy traffic, but he knows there's traffic. And he was probably wanting to buy himself some time. It's most likely what took him all that time from 2:13 to just before 4 o'clock. He probably attacked him right away, like within 15 minutes of the encounter. It was probably over. The rest is him panicking, doing weird shit, and probably trying to hide evidence. And I could see two men panicking out there, one blaming the other, getting into a scuffle. But yeah, the time that it takes from the bridge guy kidnapping the girls off of that bridge to the point the muddy and bloody guy is supposedly seen is a really long time. And if there were two people working together, I don't believe that it would have taken that long. So the time frame suggests a lone wolf, in my honest opinion. But there's also the marathon gas station stuff, you know. Was there an exchange? Is that where the burner phone came from? Is that what they took to Las Vegas? That seems very I don't know, Shakespearean, I guess. But it could be true. I mean, there could be a reason, you know, Kagan Klein's not making a deal and also still be involved. And I don't want to keep putting his name out there if he's not involved, but I mean, the information that's out there points at him. We still don't know a motive. Why was Richard Allen out on the bridge? Why was he walking with purpose? And why was the high bridge his purpose? He got there at 1:30, went directly to the bridge. The girls left at 1:30, went directly to the bridge. They end up dead. He ends up a suspect. So why were they there? How did Richard Allen know they were going to be there? Anthony Schatz started communicating with Libby just a few weeks before she was murdered through a mutual friend. Kagan Klein saying he's not the only, you know, I'm not the only person that has access to these accounts. Not only am I not the only person, but during my court proceedings, when they were going over the evidence against me, the Anthony Schatz account, it was revealed that actually that account tried to meet up with somebody in Logansport, according to Keegan Klein, 2 months prior to the murders. This information, if true, is not creating distance with the connection between Richard Allen and, you know, Klein. I wouldn't even say Klein's. I want to say the Anthony Schatz profile, because we don't know who has access to that. We know who Kagan says has access. So I guess that's where we're at. Yeah, and the thing about if you're directly involved in a murder, that's not the information you want to give to law enforcement, right? You don't want to say, hey, look, here, you know, sentence me to death with this information that I'm going to provide to you, and let's make a deal. If the information you have is basically you telling on yourself, you're not going to provide that information. For all we know, Richard Allen's in a pretty good position to kind of tell us if there was somebody else involved. Maybe they had more of a hand in this. You know? I feel like Kagan Klein is a master manipulator, and anybody who's involved in anything going on with him has just been manipulated into it. Even in some backhanded way. It's like a manipulation tornado, and whoever just gets hit by it, you know, he doesn't care how you're getting affected by it, but as long as you're manipulated. And I've seen a lot of people so far being manipulated by him in many different ways. Yeah, Anna says KK could have worked with attorneys to get a plea deal if he had real evidence. Well, I disagree. He could have real evidence that incriminates himself even further. He wouldn't want to divulge that. Here's the reason why I'm guilty. Let's make a deal. No, you just gave me all the evidence of why you're guilty. and responsible. You're the guy we're looking for. Thanks.
Dance, baby.
Time for a fish fry. Jessica, hello. Not to keep bringing this up, but wasn't there a money exchange between Libby and KK at some point? I still want to know what that's about. That's very confusing. That's something you might just not want to focus too much on. It's there's nothing significant. There's no foundation for that information. It's all based loosely on nothing. But yeah, there was discussion of during Keegan Klein's interview of Anthony Schott's money account going to the girls. And then later on, there's discussion of images of money being sent, which both could be true, right? You have a money account where there's real money going, and then you also have images of stacks of money being sent to try to impress. So both things can be true. But those are the sources of that information, the transcript. Rescue says all of the lies on Facebook about Vegas and the post pre-dating of location is super sus. Yeah, notice the one thing, one of the major lies he says during the interview with the Murder Sheet podcast was that he didn't use that phone. Oh, I found it in a rental car, but I never really touched that phone. But is he stupid or what? Does he not know that we have the digital forensic results? And if you notice, Kagan can just dance right by like the tough question. He kind of talks, like kind of mumbles, and then he'll deflect and change the subject. It's like nobody even notices. He's like, you know what I mean? Why would I do that? You know? Why would I do that? You know what I mean? Yeah, why would you do it? Yeah, Anna. And I don't think Kagan Klein was privy to all that activity. You know, the same way Kagan's like, why would I talk to my dad about that? Like I'm sure they share some nasty stuff, but there's the same way Kagan's saying that, his dad might be saying the same thing to him. Like, there's certain things I'm not going to show him. I'm not going to show him how disgusting I really am. If that's the case, you know? What's up, Deb? Good to see you. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Derek. If they got into an altercation, maybe even him and Libby could have gotten into it. But I can see him either thinking he needs to rechamber around to intimidate, Or another male kicked his ass, took the magazine out of the pistol and unchambered the round and then gave him his gun back. Like, cool down. Here's your gun. Cool down. Everything will be fine. Get your head about you. We need to start figuring out what we're going to do here at the crime scene. We can make it, and this is where all the signature stuff could come into play. Oh, well, let's, they come up with a plan or something. Let's make it look like this. This is a good point by Leslie. I don't think a duo killing team would leave one guy to walk out the woods by himself. I agree with that. Like, hey, man, like, don't go that way. Here, come with me. And I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe he ducked back into the woods. Like, what are you doing? You can't see your comments? You blocked yourself. Anthony France says, yeah, the Marathon gas station search. What time were they making that search? See, and we've had confirmation on this by the FBI directly. They've commented on it, saying that they did try to retrieve something from the computer. I think it was a hard drive, and it ended up getting corrupted, which that shit happens all the time. It pisses me off. You're trying to transfer one piece of information to a new computer or something, and when you load it up, half of it's just corrupted. You're like, how did this happen? Charlie Murphy, good to see you. If he's a lone wolf, then police have said a lot of things to the contrary. I don't believe KK was involved. I believe Tony is probably involved. Well, this is what Kagan is trying to make us believe, right? Who's pointing us in that direction? Okay. Is it true? Yeah, it definitely could be. And if it is, law enforcement's definitely all over it. And that would explain why they're looking for new tips. It wouldn't be very hard for some young lady to be like, yeah, well, if that's such and such, yeah, he's involved too. These guys tried to hurt me, or one time they tried to meet me, and they chased me. All it takes is one person. Good to see you, Tracy. Paper Pimp says, I don't understand the whole river search. What was that about? Well, what it seems to be about is a young lady basically convincing Keegan Klein to tell her everything that he knows. He says he was duped and fooled and tricked. There was a ruse that was perpetrated against him. But it makes it seem as if he told this person. And if he doesn't know anything, why would that make him a fool, right? Why would he consider himself duped? Wouldn't he be the one duping her? So apparently he told her some information. She went and told law enforcement some of the information, not all of it. And I believe that's the reason they were searching the Wabash River. They took Keegan Klein into custody to see if he could help them, assist them with that information. But it's appearing more and more as if Keegan Klein could be directly involved in the crime and maybe trying to pin it on his father or threaten his father in exchange for loyalty while he spends his 40 years. Because he's not charged with Delphi. It was easy. I believe whoever, if they are connected, it wasn't hard for them to convince Keegan Klein to keep his mouth shut, that he did these other crimes. He needs to be responsible for them. I don't think it would be hard to convince him to go ahead and suck it up. That doesn't mean we all have to go down, do your charges like a man, and I'll, support you the best I can while you're locked up. So I think could be, this is a hypothetical, could be his way of threatening certain people. Like, hey, I will tell if you don't keep up your end of the bargain, because he might feel like, oh, now that I'm sentenced to 40 years, you think that they're going to sew my mouth shut? Like, you got me fucked up. So it could be like a veiled threat. What's going on, Don? Happy Thursday to you, buddy. Yes. And we did mention that, Mike, but that is a good point. We also know that the Anthony Shots account attempted to meet someone else now, like for sure. We don't need the Kayla story and Foster Park over in Kokomo. We don't need that account anymore. If what Kagan is saying is true, he's saying he looked at the evidence, that this is actual factual evidence. Like, hey, the Anthony Shots account tried to meet somebody in Logansport. To me, this is where the half truths happen, right? That part's true. Him saying, oh, somebody else was trying to meet her could be the lie. It could very well have been him. So that could be where the lies kick in, removing him, right? And that's what happens in a lot of these interrogations that we cover. They tell this whole story, but it just removes any of the small little guilty parts, kind of like Richard Allen. Yeah, I was at the trail. I was on the bridge. I saw some girls. Did I see those girls? Oh, no, definitely not. Even though I was right there on the bridge at the exact same time they were. Did I see? No. All the other stuff, yeah. The incriminating stuff, no, definitely. That part, that's not me. Don says KK could know all kinds of stuff, but law enforcement doesn't believe anything he says. Well, they don't. I don't know, it's hard to say. They don't get that option. They don't get the choice to believe or not believe. They don't get that. Maybe when they go home and they sit down at the dinner table and they're talking with their family and the wife's like, hey, so what do you. I think that's the only time they get to use that word. I believe. No, they're waiting for something solid. They want something that they can take to a judge and say, look what I found. We got the son of a gun. Look what I have. You know, you can't do that with words. You can't run into the court and say, oh, here's a recording of what he told me exists. No, you need whatever it is. You have to hold it. That's why the tip line is open. They want something that they can bring to a judge so they can go kick somebody's door down. That's why we have the tip line open. That's why I believe others are involved. They need a piece of information so that they can bring somebody down. That's a good point, Charlie Murphy. We haven't really focused on that very much. Doug Carter said at one presser, "Who's next?" You know, like we got a killer on the loose, guys. Who's next? Like if you know about this crime, think about that. You're going to sit back. It could be you. Yeah, he was talking directly to anybody that had information. That's a good point. Yeah, the BS Vegas stuff where are you talking about apparently they went back into their Facebooks and like changed all the dates and things? Why did they do that? And it happened like right when the Anthony Shots stuff came out. Anthony Shots came out, boom, and then all of a sudden the information started changing. Yeah, that did look very suspect. Why did that happen? We never really got an answer to that. That was very suspicious. What is access online? I don't know what that is. That's not Mary Jane. I swear. Anthony says when KK says, you know what I mean? Yeah, that is. He wouldn't be good at poker. Be like, I'm bluffing. You know what I mean? Okay, all in. And he just mumbles. The way he deflects and changes direction is very impressive. He must have been using that tactic since he was a kid. You know what I mean? Why would I do that? You know? You know what I'm saying? Shut the fuck up. Hey, good to see you, Miss Thing. Yep. And another thing, when the Wabash River search started and all these rumors started going around, there was talk of the fire pit. Everybody was like, yep, it's imminent. TK's getting arrested today. They're digging up his fire pit. So what that was bits and pieces of what we could expect to happen, when they arrested Richard Allen. Something about a fire pit. And the neighbor said, I don't know what they were looking for in the fire pit, but they weren't digging very long. So, I mean, it must have been direct, found it. There's still things that haven't been released. to the public yet. That's a good point, Miss Thing. At one point, they could have been like, "I know you," and that could have been at the point where he said, "Oh man, like now I have to silence you," basically. So yeah, maybe they did reckon. Maybe they got in a scuffle, pulled down his face covering, or pulled it away, knocked his hat and his hood off. Maybe they even called him out by name. And then he's like, "Damn it." Then panic set in. Question for anybody. What is the nearest structure, building, barn, etc. to the entrance and exit of the high bridge? If you keep walking, there's a video on YouTube of a unicyclist and he's riding around. If you go watch that video, he actually walks in to the CPS building. The door is wide open. He gets a good shot inside, but there's a building he goes into before that. So he crosses the Monon High Bridge, and it's not a shack. It's some kind of storage building. And I haven't been able to locate it, but apparently it's just somewhere right on the south end of that trail. I don't know if it's the Weber property. I have a feeling it might be the other property. West. It would be west, I believe, of the Weber lot. Direct neighbor. And this guy who's doing this quick, it's just a quick little fun little YouTube video with some kind of funny music in the background. But he walks in there and there's all this trash and shit in there. But it's got to be right on the south end. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. But nobody's talking about that, and I can't pinpoint where it is. I'll try to find it, and I don't know. We'll try to figure that part out. But yeah, he crosses the bridge and he goes into this building. It has a low roof. It almost looks like an old greenhouse or something. It's pretty big. And there's just all kinds of shit in there. Like somebody's using it for storage. And he kind of sneaks in and peeks in there. I would like to know where that's at. I would show the video, but I don't want to get hit with like a strike or something. But if you guys go look it up, it shouldn't be hard to find. Something unicycling, Mona Freedom Bridge or Delphi, Carroll County, something. He's like riding his unicycle through the trails. But he just doesn't give a crap. He just goes on a property and he goes into and he's snooping around. And he goes into this building. And as soon as I seen it, I kind of was like, whoa, what is that? I don't know. Maybe I can take a quick screenshot. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to try to find this. Okay, I found it.
Are you sick of having issues with your web?
So any of you Delphians, let me know if you recognize this building. Okay, so this is him crossing. Yeah, and I hope I don't get struck by this guy. Okay, so this is him crossing the bridge. And then it transitions into the next scene, and he's in this building. And this is somewhere directly on the south end of that bridge where the girls were taken down. Somewhere over there. You see that? Now, I don't know. Is this the corn crib or whatever? Good to see you, True Crime Mama. I think Richard Allen is a lone wolf, and the tentacles is a connection to KK and his outsourcing of CP. Yeah, he said he was taken to Grissom and that Nick was there. He also said that after he was duped, and that's the reason for the search. And he went to follow up after that with Nicholas to see, not that he held back, but just to see if there was anything else he missed. What he means, he wanted to know if this person that he told everything to told them everything. But it doesn't seem like she did tell him everything. Just enough to get that search going and what looks to be get Richard Allen arrested. So this building here, I don't know what the hell this is. This might be the corn crib, right? I don't know if it exists anymore. It looks like it might be too big. Can't tell. Is it like an old chicken? Or maybe even turkeys? The hell is that? Good to see you, Beach Fairy. It's funny. Good to see you, Purdue. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Peruvian, what's up? Yeah, Pinocchio has more credibility for sure. Marshall McClay, what up? Says, will we ever hear the full audio and video from Libby's phone? I don't know. If it goes to trial, I think, yeah. I think we'll get to hear it. Jessica, don't get me started on JP. Yeah, I thought about JP when they mentioned the Logansport stuff, but that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, this is it right here. So this is somewhere you cross the bridge, and I know there's a lot of weird little buildings on both properties. I'm just not familiar with what this is. You know, it looks run down, used as storage. It's dilapidated. Yeah, and I don't know if it's big or if it's just kind of the way the camera angle is. I don't know. Some phones do that. Like you take a picture and it looks big, and then in reality, it's it's just not that. It's just not the case. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. It seems like Kagan tells each person what they want to hear. We need to stop making him and let the investigators work on him. Yeah, if they know anything or if what he's saying is true, they're on that. And he could be a guilty party. Yeah, Jessica, this is crazy. Look, I'll go to the part where he goes into the CPS building also. I just don't want to play too much of the video. Let me see if there's any more of this building. Oh, yeah, there's a little bit. Let's take a look. Looks like he kind of gives us an idea. I don't know. What is that? Some kind of nozzle? Looks like there was some hay in there. Thought I saw some hay on the ground. Oh, yeah, here's the dude. This guy's crazy. He can ride. He just rides a unicycle and he's holding a selfie stick at the same time. The title of the video is Unicycle Ride in Delphi, Indiana. Here, let's go to the CPS building. Yeah, thank you. I was just gonna ask you to do that, and I was like, they can find it if I give them the title. Thank you so much for being so helpful. So look, he just walks right into the CPS building. Like, hello. So I mean, him parking here, they could have very well wanted to take them in there. There might be something going on with this building that we don't know about. The dude walks right in. Shoot, there's even a bathroom right there. And the way we know this is the CPS building, well, you can't see it right now. Here, let me remove this logo off of here real quick. It's just an overlay. Okay, you see the reflection in the window? There's the highway right across the street. And if you look on the outside, there's a window the exact same size on the outside of the building. So yeah, this is the CPS building. And this dude walked right in. But I'm more curious about that other building. Yeah, Jessica, it was just unlocked. He walked right in. Yeah, it was in good shape, and the McCains were trying to get their hands on it. They wanted to use it kind of as like a touristy stop-in area. They wanted to kind of incorporate it in everything that they were doing. But something to do with the Oddfellows came through and like purchased the land, and they wanted it as well. They wanted to make it their new meeting area at one point in like 2000, I don't know, 15 or 14 or 15, around that area. And McClellan was all involved in all this shit too. For some reason, everybody wanted this location, but I think mostly because it was a structure and nobody was doing anything with it, right? They built the new freeway, and now they have this abandoned building just sitting there. Why not use it, right? Thank you, Beach Fair. Yeah, if you guys could hit the thumbs up, we're getting ready to get out of here. Just going to catch up on the chat real quick. Freckled. I mean, you're not any better in California. That's where all the serial killers come from. There in Seattle, the whole West Coast. There, West Coast and the East Coast. Yeah, I got some information on them. We can take a look before we get out of here. Here's a little article. Just because I'm running out of time, I can't go searching down all of them, but I'll find them. We'll do another live stream on all this. Peruvian, thank you so much. The super sticker. So today's sponsors, Mike Essery, Leslie Kingston, and Peruvian 69. Thank you. Let's see. Here's a photo of James Ebright. 160 years of fellowship. Service James Ebright kneels in front of a memorial stone at Delphi's Independent Order of Oddfellows Cemetery on Wilson Street. Several members turned out for Saturday morning workday to repair the foundations of toppling headstones. So they work in the cemeteries. Jason Lowry joined the Oddfellows Lodge when he was 18, partly because his father was a member and partly because the lodge has a pool hall, card games, and steak dinners. Aside from being a social organization, Lowry said the Oddfellows' main purpose is philanthropy. The group helps local clubs and organizations like Food Baskets for Health Fair, the After Prom, Little League, and they recently donated for the caution light on Hamilton Street near the softball diamond. Lowry said the club has served as a vehicle so that the regular man can do noble things in his community. Why the name Oddfellows? More than 150 years ago, when the group of men donated money to kids for school clothes, some people thought that was odd, said Lowry. So the group officially convened on February 13th, 1846, and became the Independent Order of Oddfellows. The group is about 50 members strong, with 15 or so currently active. The club supports 2 IOOF cemeteries, one on Wilson Street, the other in Pittsburgh. Lowry said that at one time there were 5 or more lodges in the county, including Lockport, Burroughs, and Rockfield. This year, the group has focused on cleaning the cemeteries, dressing the headstones, and renovating the exterior of the lodge building. The Oddfellows budget report dated 1881 showed that the cost to build the Oddfellows Lodge was about $22,000. So the reason I went down this is because at one point these guys tried to move, I guess from this building here, they wanted to move over into the CPS building. Isn't that crazy? Like the date that's important to this group is February 13th. I always thought that was strange. Just a coinky dink. Strange nonetheless. Oh, here it is. Purchase of the old social services building proposed. Okay, here's a good one. So this one is titled Purchase of Old Social Services Building Proposed to Deer Creek, October 11th, 2017. So this is still the year the girls were murdered, and just a month prior to Ives retiring, bowing out of the fight. The board president said board member David McCain and Sutter met to develop the plan. The project has come together in the last 3 to 4 weeks. The letter of intent was prepared by attorney Miriam Robinson for Sutter, states it is intended to be a binding promise to come to an agreement in good faith. It is anticipated that the Deer Creek Township trustee may obtain ownership of the parcel in question from the Indiana Department of Transportation. So the Department of Transportation owned that building, or the land it was on, I'm not sure. The state purchase price in the letter is $28,000. Sutter's proposal was for him to reimburse the township for all expenses, including reasonable cost of acquisition and transfer of the property. And they're referring to the CPS building. And check this out. The Deer Creek Township Board has announced a meeting on Wednesday, October 11th at 10:30 a.m. at the McClellan Law Office. Mayfield said he was unclear why the meeting was called. However, he said the agenda could involve the old social services building. Mayfield said those who have questions, yeah. So it's just all the familiar names. Some conspiracy food. But that is all the time I have, guys. Thank you for hanging out. shout out to anybody who was able to catch the live replay crew. You know what to do. Drop a comment. Try to get back to you. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Consider becoming a member. If not, it's all good. Don't worry. All right. Thank you all for participating in the chat as well. Mods, you rock. Thank you again. And you guys have a great day. Later.